Hey, Mark Hutto here, and we've reached a new level of Cray Cray Oregon Live. Is just now reporting on this morning on a plot to kidnap and kill the governor of Michigan, Gretchen Whitmer. Talk about freaking insanity, man. All right. So they're claiming it's a right-wing group. I'm not so sure. I mean, there's things about it that you can say are righty, but they have this little thing in there that is kind of, puts them a little on the fringe. They have this little thing in there about killing governors and overthrowing states and killing police officers. Whenever you hear that, man, it's bad news. It's bad news all the way. But here's the thing. This is Oregon Live reporting. Michigan militia members are accused of plotting to kidnap Governor Gretchen Whitmer and potentially kill other state officials in an effort to overturn the government, according to a criminal affidavit filed in federal court by the FBI. Okay? In early 2020, the FBI became aware through social media that a group of individuals were discussing the violent overthrow of certain government and law enforcement components. All right, look, who's on social media discussing this? Who's that stupid? I mean, come on, man. They have encrypted apps for that, right? Why you get on Facebook? Yeah, we're gonna take these people out, man. It's not going to go well, which draws my suspicion. Okay, makes me a little suspicious. All right, we go on. According to the court records, 15 militia members from several states met in Dublin, Ohio. All right, to discuss taking violent action against multiple state governments they believe are violating the Constitution. That's where the right-wing element comes in. Okay, but let me tell you something. All right. Someone's violating the Constitution, at least you have it. You start overthrowing governments, all right? You start doing unsolicited mail-in ballots, have illegal elections, have election fraud. You start pulling crap like that, you lose the rule of law. The rule of law is what gives us a chance to save this thing. There's a lot of people that are all, hey, can't wait for the boogaloo. No. That is naive. You've never been in a country that's been torn apart by revolution. My wife fled one. I have been in Central America during and right after revolutions. You don't want any part of that, okay? The poverty and the mayhem that takes place after a revolution is freaking horrible. You want to try to use any civilized, nonviolent form of protest that you can possibly use to change government, which, by the way, is what the left's claim they're doing. But if you speak to the people who've been murdered and their homes been burned, bricks last night in Wisconsin thrown through the window, if you talk to those people, they're going to tell you this is not peaceful protest. This is violent, and it's an attack on Main Street. Okay, that's the problem with the riots and the violence. They're not really going after anybody that counts, except for when they attack the courthouse, they think they are. Okay, but they're going after like mainstream people, and that's total criminal activity. And I also I know there's a lot of anti-police sentiment out there, but you start going after the police, who's going to replace the police? The rioters are going to replace the police. And if you don't want them in your neighborhoods right now, why are you going to want them later? I mean, it's not going to get better. Things are only going to get worse. Look at Portland. Portland's going for a communist mayor. Things are just spiraling downwards, okay? So going on with the story, several members talked about murdering tyrants or taking a sitting governor. A group decided they needed to increase their numbers and encourage each other to talk to their neighbors and spread their message. Now, the question is, I don't think this was organic. I think what you have here is you have agents actually coming in and being the provocateurs. I wonder who made that first social media post, for example. Was that really a guy dumb enough? Or was that someone under the protection of the state who could make a social media post like that with no recourse? Because we know, there's a ton of people on social media. Somebody's going to see something they don't like, and they're going to report it. You go to jail. I mean, you're going to go to jail day one. But this guy didn't. So I think what we're hearing about this is going to change. How often in the media do you, see a story like this, okay, and then a little while later, it changes. They've got the governor's face here. They talk about the people, the conspiracy. We hear this one version of events, and then later it gets amended, and we hear the true story. And it's usually after the public outrage, after people have been hurt, after people have been killed, then you hear the truth. I mean, this is the way the media works in this country. You got 5 companies, okay, on all the media, and when they polled the media, you can look this up on DuckDuckGo. Don't even bother with Google. And you'll find that 90 to 95% of all reporters are left-leaning. They're Democrats. So you're not getting unbiased news. Watch CNN. I mean, Trump broke CNN. That guy melts down, you know. The guy melts down like every time he gets on there. Like he can't handle it, which tells me something else, that the polls that we're getting are probably not accurate. People don't behave like that when they're winning. That's not even normal. So anyway, the state attorney, back to the story. State Attorney General Dana Nessel has called a press conference for 1 p.m. Today. So it wasn't clear from the office's announcement whether the investigation will be discussed, but we're going to be hearing more on this, and I think we're going to find some stuff down the road that is not the same as what we're hearing in the story right now. There's elements of the story, that sound righty, but then when you're talking about killing police officers, you're not really sounding like a right-winger. And whenever they say righty, what they're trying to do is they're trying to equate it with Trump supporters, and it just doesn't match up. It's just like the rioters, they're not all Democrats, though we know they're not voting for Trump. I mean, that's why they're in the street. That's why at the end of each rally, whether it's peaceful or whether it's a firestorm, they talk about voting, and they're talking about voting for Joe Biden. Okay, I don't, me personally, I think overthrowing governments and firebombing businesses, both of these tactics, I just don't think you win the hearts and minds of people with that. I mean, I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Portland's kind of showing that I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I mean, they're kind of like electing more of it. It's like, hey, I like the smell of burning garbage in the street. I like that Baghdad effect, right? Yeah, let's stay tuned. Let's see what happens.